The Big Sky State is as good as advertised, and I've been lucky enough to guide these streams, rivers, and lakes since 2001. These watersheds are teeming with trout, and I think just as importantly, teeming with wildlife. I think Montana has a perfect balance of great trout fishing and great wildlife, along with beautiful scenery and solitude. Heck, this is about the only way you'll ever see a traffic jam in the Big Sky State. Every fly fisherman is owed a trip to Mecca, and Mecca is Montana. Our Slough Creek Pack Trip is one of our favorite trips of the summer. It's a 13.5-mile horseback ride back to our camp along the banks of legendary Slough Creek, which is filled with pocket water, long, slow, meandering meadows, and even a large waterfall with huge holes that harbor some monster cutthroat. At this point in the camp, we're about 15 miles above the trailhead, and we're outside of Yellowstone Park by about 4 miles. This section of river rarely gets fished by anyone. In fact, all of the years that I've been doing this trip, I've never seen another fisherman outside of our camp. It's just too far from any place for them to get to it. These fish are, for the most part, very uneducated and always looking up. They're eating hoppers, beetles, and ants at this time of the year. We do get a smattering of mayflies, caddis, and stones as well, but for the most part, it's terrestrial time on Slough Creek. This is a dry fly fisherman's dream trip. There is no dry fly fishing better that I've ever seen, at least as consistently as what this is. If you're a little more adventurous and you want to bring a big rod along, grab a streamer rod and see what happens.
Right there. Now don't mend. Now pull. Yeah, you got him. That's a big fish. That's a big fish. I got him, Dustin. That's the pig. Did you see that fish try to jump? That's a big fish. Now here's what we probably need to do. Hopefully we can, oh, fry me, sakes. Hopefully we can pull him out and around. If not, we'll get him right here. Better go down there. Don't be in a hurry, man. That's a big fish. Yeah! Woo! Woo! Yeah, baby!
I guess that's what it sounds like when you catch the trout of your dreams. Our pack trip is absolutely awesome. Something I look forward to every year. I guide over 200 days a year, and this week up there is about as good as it gets for me. Our Yellowstone River floats aren't a slouch either. I believe the Yellowstone River to be the best river in the United States for a trout fisherman. It's large water. We offer solitude, peace, not a lot of other fishermen, and plenty of wild trout looking up to dry flies. We get Yellowstone cutties, brown trout, rainbow trout, and cutbows on these trips. In August, when I'm out, is hopper time. They're always looking up to hoppers, terrestrials, ants, beetles, things of that nature. Our floats on the Yellowstone are peaceful, as you can see here, and I don't think there's any better way to fish a big river than out of a high drift boat. We're floating dry flies along, waiting for fish like that one to come up and eat. It's absolute great water, beautiful water, historic water. Every fly fishing legend in the world has fished this river. Here we're fishing a little spinner fall in the evening. I really think the Yellowstone, one of the best aspects of this river is whether there are bugs coming off or not, these fish are always looking up. It makes it a dry fly fisherman's paradise. I really think as far as just going out to Montana and fishing dry flies all day long on a big river, I think the Yellowstone is the river to go to. Water temps are normally good, the trout are always looking up, and there are very few other rivers in Montana that can say that. However, if you're a streamer fisherman, the Yellowstone doesn't disappoint you either. It's a great streamer fishing river no matter what time of the year. Here we've got an August day when the water was low and clear. As you can see, it's a bright sunny day, and they're still eating streamers. We whacked them on streamers on this day. Yellowstone really has something for everybody. I think that's the best part of this river. Whether you want to dry fly fish, nymph fish, streamer fish, it really doesn't matter. The fish are there and they're going to eat. And here another Yellowstone brown goes back to fight another day. You know, there are a lot of great rivers in Montana, but the Yellowstone is by far my favorite. We have wild fish, always looking up, eating dry flies, but you can also throw a multitude of techniques in there and they'll almost always produce for you. I really love the Yellowstone River and I know you will too. We also have some great stillwater fishing opportunities in the Yellowstone Valley. These small lakes are mostly private and can be a great addition if the Yellowstone is too muddy to fish or just for a side trip to try something different. They're best fished from float tubes or drift boats, and we get some great hatches of calabatus in the late summer, as well as damselflies and a multitude of terrestrials. You know, these big rainbows are really spunky when they're hooked, and most of the time spend more time out of the water than they do in it. Most of our fishing on these small lakes is done with dry flies, although we do throw some nymphs at times too. I think these lakes are just a great addition to the Yellowstone and our small streams that we have. Make a great side trip, just a very well-rounded sampler of what we have to offer in the valley, and some big fish and very little pressure as they're private. Our small streams are very reminiscent of a Midwestern stream. Very few people fish these. We get some great hatches of tricos and a lot of fish looking up all morning long. Here you can see how reminiscent these streams are of a Midwestern trout stream. Pretty small. They really, if you took a picture of this, you wouldn't think it was Montana. You'd think you're in Wisconsin. Here we've got trico fishing in the morning, and we normally fish until about 1 o'clock or so, right around lunch, and then we end up either fishing terrestrials throughout the afternoon or we head over to the Yellowstone or one of the lakes. Mainly rainbows in this stream, although you will get some big browns at times as well. This is a nice rainbow coming to net here. Some of the best trico fishing in this part of Montana is on these small streams. It's absolutely great. You know, every fly fisherman has Montana on its bucket list, and rightfully so. Come out this summer and let me show you why. It won't disappoint you. Thank you for checking out today's video, and I hope to see you on the water soon.